you'll be on a job in your career and you'll be doing someone else's work and you'll become resentful. Because there's times where people don't show up to work, or you have a slacker, or there's a void in a position and someone needs to fill it. And many people that I've worked with and I've experienced myself, they become very resentful, very upset that they're doing someone else's job or they're not getting paid to do it. I've never really felt, I felt that, but I never really take that too much to heart because I always look at that like I'm still getting paid and I'm thankful for my job. And if you have that positive attitude, you're always rewarded, whether through a promotion or something. Certainly, there's circumstances where, if there's an abuse, you have to try to resolve that, right? But the point I'm getting at is that in life, when you feel like you're doing a job that isn't necessarily yours, you feel resentful and it starts a seed of discontentment. And I want to share that because in life, one of the biggest decisions as an adult is if you're going to have kids or if you're going to raise someone else's kids if you get in a relationship with someone who already has kids. I've done that. I've never had kids of my own, but I've been in relationships with people, with a woman that already had kids, which I respect her kids. It was great. And I've known people that have been adopted and that have adopted kids. So technically their kids were not biologically theirs. So I speak no negativity towards anyone in that situation, but I do want to share my experience and my opinion to maybe help you. Everyone has their own journey. I found myself taking care of someone else's kid, and I didn't mind doing it initially because I have a heart to give. And definitely when I was younger, I've become a little bit more selfish in my time because I got burnt out. But I have a heart to give. I like to teach. I like to encourage. And I like kids. I'm good with kids, actually. Very good. I was a youth leader. I was a mentor in different programs. And I'm good with kids. But I'm not good with commitment, and I'm not good with long-term obligation, especially when it's not my kid. And that's kind of what happened. And I feel bad a little bit saying it because I love the kid. I think it's an awesome kid. I love the experience, but also the experience had to end because as an adult, I had to make a decision. And this is why I'm sharing it. I don't want this message to be hurtful, but I want it to be heard. That as an adult, you have to really ask yourself what you need to do to keep yourself in a good space, physically, mentally, and emotionally, because no one else is going to do it for you. Your kid that you're raising cannot make sure that you're in a good place. And the kid that I was like semi-raising, he saw that eventually. I didn't see him in a good place. Someone can see when you're not happy, but it's not their job to correct that. That's your job. And it's hard to get out of entanglements. So you got to be very careful. But what I've found in my personality, because again, in your 20s and even in your early 30s, you're still trying to figure out who you are, what you're going to do in life, and how you can operate at your optimal capacity. You want to figure that out by your mid-30s, because 40 is the middle age of life. So what I was figuring out was, one is I wanted to give back. One is I do like some level of connection with people. I'm not a total isolationist. I do like kids. I like relationships. I don't mind, whatever, right? So, but I found as I got older that for me to operate in a healthy space and to feel encouraged myself, I need to spend 90% of my time by myself. And I can't be obligated to someone else. Because you can say, well, that's okay. Like, just only see them on one day a week, or only see them every other day, or only see them once a month. No, because to me in my mind, even when I'm not seeing them, I'm thinking that I'm obligated to see them. I'm obligated to take care of them. And this is not about a kid necessarily. This is about knowing yourself. Why? Because even now, you guys have seen that with my journey as a nomad. I think about that with a home base. Because as I got older, I kind of figured out what makes me operate well and what makes me operate negative. It's my job. It's your job to figure that out. It's not your job to adopt every kid. It's not your job to adopt every pit bull. Again, I know great people that have adopted pit bulls and kids. I know great people that have been adopted. My family adopted dogs at times. Look, the thing is though, I know some of the most unhappy, dysfunctional people adopted a bunch of pit bulls, or they got too many kids, or they're taking care of too many other responsibilities, and they're struggling for peace, they're struggling for wellness. I still think the kids are doing fine, they're doing fine. I don't think you should always abandon everything. But I do want to say there's sometimes where you got to step away from something. And you got to stop adding pets, stop adding kids. And maybe separate. Again, this is not a hurtful message, it's not a resentful message, but I could tell you I got resentful. And not even, again, with kids. I remember in a community, when I lived in my community, I had a dog. And when you have a dog, you walk around the community, you tend to meet other dog owners and other people in the community. And I met this one guy, great guy. He eventually died of cancer, but he was an awesome guy. And I think he had a Ukrainian wife. He remarried because his wife died of cancer. And then he knew this other lady in my community. He remarried her or whatever. And he bought a dog with her. And, we would walk our dogs at night. And when this guy had got cancer and when he died, the widower was left with this dog, but she didn't really have the time to take care of it. And so she saw me one day after work and she said, Sam, would you mind taking my dog for a walk at night? And initially, especially at that point too, I was a little bit more eager to say yes and a little slower to say no. I said yes initially. But I was at the beginning of understanding myself. And then when I walked back to my house, I said, no, I can't say yes. I'm not going to raise this dog. I'm not going to take care of it. After work, I need to spend time on myself. I can't come home from work and take care of someone else's dog. I can't come home from work and take care of someone else's kid. I need to work on myself, even if that's just relaxation. So it was very tough for me to do. But I walked back to her house. I said, look, I love you. I said, but no, I can't. And really, there's no excuse other than I just don't want to do it. And that's a tough conversation. And it may be a tough conversation with you don't want to raise someone else's kids. You don't want to pick them up. That's tough. And it's not for the kid to understand, but it's for you to understand. Again, I thank God for people who raise other people's kids. I thank God for the friends that I had, their parents. They would, let people come to their house and stay and sleep over. Even as I get older, I said, wow, that's amazing that some people have that capacity. They just let kids come to their house and sleep over. So again, I really am very cautious of if I wanted to share this live feed because I don't want it to be hurtful for people who are raising someone else's kids or people who have kids or pets. But this is a big part of my channel, man, figuring out yourself. Okay, and learning that you're not responsible for everyone in the world. Because what happens is you try to save the world, you destroy yourself, you will die, they will take your inheritance. And even if you have no inheritance, it's not about that, but they're going to live their own shitty life or best life no matter what. You're going to have some impact, but you don't have as big as impact as you think. Because you can do great things without raising someone. And to be honest with you, look, they're going to have to figure out life on their own too. So to me, I always say that, well, all right, what do you want your kid to learn? Do you want your kid to learn when you meet someone and raise their kids too, you be unhappy, but the kid be happy? I want to share this last story, and then we're going to go all live comments. If these videos help you, please click the thumbs up. You want to support the channel, please click that blue join button. Thank you to all my members. I want to share this last story with you. I remember when I was very young, and I went to go visit my grandparents, and they took me to a boardwalk at the Jersey Shore. And we were playing these video games, and you can get like a certain amount of coupons or tokens. And after you get so many tokens, like you can redeem them for a prize. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I wanted some type of baseball memorabilia thing. I don't know if it was a helmet or a baseball card, but it was a lot of tokens, a lot of points. And so my grandmother decided to, look, let's help Sam get this prize. So, she gave money to everyone, and we played a lot. We spent more money probably playing these machines than if we would have just bought it. But you know how it is when you win a prize. That's the game, right? So we were there for like an hour, and they all gave me the coupons or the tokens. And my grandma gave it to me. She goes, all right, Sam, go ahead and get your prize. So I went to the exchange counter by myself. And I was sitting there with all the tokens in my hands. And instead of me getting the prize I want, I bought something for each person that helped me play. I bought something for my grandma. I bought something, and they weren't these big things because I had to divide the money. So I really just felt like I wanted to show that I was thankful. I wanted to take care of them. And so when I came back, my grandma and everyone were sitting on these benches. I came back, I said, and she was looking at me like she didn't see the thing I wanted. And then she saw all this other stuff. She goes, Sam, what's that? And I said, well, Grandma, I bought this for you. I bought this for Grandpa. I bought this. And, she looked at me. She goes, wow, I'm thankful you got us stuff, but we did that so you could get what you wanted. We sacrifice so you can live your life. And that always struck me because it was like, again, I think she was thankful that I had that type of attitude. Everyone wants you to be grateful. Your manager. And that's why I tell you, if you're at work and you're asked to do someone else's job, do it with a smile. One is it's probably not your manager's final call. There's other people higher up. And two is you're still getting paid. That's your job. Even if it's not your job role, at least initially. But I can always justify that in my mind. Like, look, this is my job. I'm thankful. But in my personal life, to work a job and then to come home and have to take care of someone else, kids taking money out of your pocket, someone else dog taking money out of your pocket. And that builds up resentment. Resentment with a capital R. And as an adult, you're going to have to learn that word. It's a hard word. This is a hard conversation. Because believe me, I'd rather have just done a live feed about living in Florida, living in my car, and those are going to come. But I also think about my channel and forever long it lasts and forever much it does. What would I have wanted to heard in church, or what would I have wanted to heard in a I want to hear about life. And this is life. What should you do? That's your decision. I'm sharing with you my experiences, my actual stories. And I don't want to control people, and I recognize everyone has a different personality. So you may have the personality where you have that capacity. I respect that, and I'm thankful different people are different. But part of your job as an adult is to figure out who you are and what your personality is. If you like to spend most of the time by yourself, easy on adding relationships, easy on adding pets, easy on easy. If you've been adopted, don't feel guilty. If you are a kid living with someone else, don't feel guilty. Why? Because it's your job to work on yourself, not to feel guilty. But you better remember this. Don't just go, okay, because someone helped me, I got to help them. Because someone helped me. Look, if someone helped you, they did it so you can better yourself. Twister, $1.99 super chat, brother. One finger up. Twister, shout out to you. Shout out to Texas. Thank you for your long time support, positive attitude. And I spoke to a Starbucks barista today, every day. I love living alone, but I love going to Starbucks, never having to make my own coffee, and also having some conversation. And the barista was saying, look, you work 20 hours, you can get full health insurance. You can transfer to any other Starbucks in the country. And if you don't like a lot of traffic, work the night shift where you may have to clean more, but you have less people to deal with. I want to tell you, being a barista, man or woman, in Starbucks, there's another opportunity. There's 2 jobs for every unemployed person in America. The greatest country, even though other countries are great. And look, I'm saying that. I'm thankful for America. That's it. America's not perfect. I want to tell you right now, a shout out to Florida Yeti. She's a viewer of mine, a Ukrainian woman that came to America. She's a great woman. She's got a great channel. I went to her live chat today. There was a bunch of Ukrainian and Russian women. What they looking for? An American man. American man. Why? Because guys, look, and I would do the same thing. If you're in another country, you want to get to America. Most other countries. And you'll marry someone. Now, maybe some of them say, well, I don't look good enough. I'm not. Well, you do what you got to do. But I asked Florida Yeti, because Florida Yeti was busting my balls, like in a nice way. She goes, Sam, I'm not giving it. You shouldn't stay single. And I said, well, you've been married. Would you get married again? She said, you know what? No, I probably wouldn't. And then I said, well, tell me, she goes, well, I believe in love. I said, okay, tell me about it. And she goes, well, after 3 years, I don't think, love will fade. Florida is a great person. She's doing great in van life. But after you ask yourself, about marriage, relationships, and kids. You may be thankful for what you have, but you may not want to redo that. Because I see her as happy probably as she ever been in life. Driving around her van, her kids are adults. You want to go back to where you have to come home and deal with someone else every day? No. Thank God for all the empty nesters. Thank God for all the adult people. You paid your dues. You've been married once. You raised kids. Oh, don't forget what you went through to get where you're at. And I want to tell you in life that a lot of freedom, even in the freest country in the world, people give up voluntarily because they don't want to be alone, so they get too many pets. They don't want to be alone, so they'll date someone else with kids. And they don't want to have a tough conversation and say, you know what? I can't do that. My message is not for everyone, but it's for my experience. I love everyone. I love the women I've dated with children. I love the children I've mentored. I love the people that, when I was a child, looked after me. I love everyone. But I also love sharing these life lessons with you so that you know your thoughts may not be your own. Your experiences, there's some similarities. Okay? All right, let's go to all live comments again. If you appreciate these videos, please click that thumbs up. I see a lot of my members in here. Thank you for supporting that channel. You want to support the channel, click the blue join button. Twister, Adam, Sophie, appreciate you all. Good to see you. Let's go to these live comments. Doug, what's up, brother? So good to see you guys and girls. All right, let me crack my window. I am in South Florida. In my opinion, the best state in America is Florida. Best weather. The worst part about living anywhere other than Florida is springtime comes. It's officially spring. It doesn't get nice in any other state in America until at least May. You got a lot of rain, a lot of dreary weather in April, and it's very depressing. Now, you say, well, yeah, I want to move to Florida. Well, I want to tell you, if you're dating someone with kids, you ain't moving nowhere. Okay? You ain't moving. I want to tell you. I want to testify here. Okay? Or if you adopted a bunch of pit bulls, you ain't going to any apartment complex. I want to tell you that tonight. So I want to tell you, and then I want to tell you this. A lot of people, they throw baby showers. They say a baby is a blessing from the Lord. I want to tell you, not having a baby, not having a child is the ultimate blessing from the Lord. Because there ain't nothing, in my opinion, my experience, there ain't nothing like not worrying about another motherfucker. All right, yeah, you ain't got to worry about no one else but yourself, huh? To me, that's more loving than taking care of someone or bringing a child into the world that you don't have the capacity to take care of. So, all right, we're going to live comments, guys. I appreciate you. I really do. Shout out to you. If I miss a comment as I read these comments, please type it again. Don't take it out of disrespect. I love you. Andre, great to see you, brother. Thank you for always being first. I truly appreciate you, man. Shout out to you and your children. Ryan, what's up, brother? Hey, Sam. Sure hope that you are having a great day. Awesome day. Very thankful for Florida. Very thankful for my job. Very thankful for you guys on here. God's blessing to you, brother. Same back to you. Thank you, Ryan. Sophie, I appreciate your consistent positive attitude. Hello to all in this chat. Blessings and prayers to you. I feel the good vibes tonight. My man, Doug, the Pacific Northwest. Doug, you hang in there, brother. Remember, eat a little less, go for a walk a little bit more, and do a little more. Try to make your daily routine a little more productive and a little bit more pleasurable. Why? Because you just got through another day. And if you got through another day, but you spent most of your day in your house, you didn't walk enough, you didn't do enough, it's more depressing than it needs to be. You say, well, it's easy for you to say I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Well, again, guys, I grew up in New Jersey, which is closer to Canada maybe than even the Pacific Northwest in many regards. It could be dreary, guys, very nasty. So go for a walk. Do what you need to do. And liquidate, and if you ain't got kids, nothing's keeping you in the Pacific Northwest, okay? Other than the mentality. You got to get out of there. I love you, brother. Work at Starbucks, get a job transfer. I just met a barista. She came from Tampa to the east coast of Florida. Why? Transfer. She was on the healthcare Obama exchange, paying for her own healthcare $300 a month because it gets subsidized if you have low income. Now she's working 20 hours a week, and they're only taking $50 out of her paycheck, and she got full health insurance. I want to tell you, for a lot of you lazy people, not even lazy, because that's not lazy, you're working. I want to tell you, for people, guys, there's 2 jobs for every unemployed person. You want to get to Florida, but you don't have a job transfer? Well, why don't you work at Starbucks for a few months, a year at least, and then why don't you apply for a job transfer? Someone just did. I just met them. Okay, so don't tell me it's not possible. I want to tell you guys, thank God for corporations. Corporations, as an example, Starbucks, publicly traded company, so is Dunkin' Donuts, publicly traded company. If you worked for Carl's Cafe, you ain't getting no damn transfer around anywhere in the country. You ain't gonna get health insurance benefits working 20 hours a week. Thank God for corporations. That's what makes America great. Never forget that, guys. Good job. Peanut butter. I love that avatar. I appreciate you so much, Peanut butter. That avatar puts a smile on my face. I love kids, but none for me, thanks. That's very well said. To me, I kind of like look at that like, yeah, you know, yeah. I don't want to add to that. I think that's a great comment, Doug. 57 and sunny in Pacific Northwest. Well, 87 and sunny in Florida. It's awesome, brother. Doug, yeah, 3 purple fire member only emojis and 3 Starbucks Grande Pike with steamed soy, no sugar. Good job. Forgive me if I'm saying this name wrong. Mendel, no friend, family, boyfriend, girlfriend either. It's drama and headache. I used to be so kind and help everyone. My stepmom said I was too good for my own good. Now I am not the problem. They decided to have kids in this world. I have become addicted to being alone. I left to get better, to be a better person, and realized that I've become a whole healed and nothing to come home to, no family. Well, again, as long as you're not isolating yourself and not being unproductive. Because if you're not working and you're just living by yourself and doing nothing, that's not healthy. And that's, so again, to me, I don't want kids because I don't want to come home from work and take care of kids. I don't have the capacity. I haven't become so jaded that I don't want to still do things I love, but I would become jaded if I still doing it. So again, have a positive connotation on life as best you can. I know the life's crazy, and just take that energy, and when you come home from work, instead of you going to pick up someone's kid, go do a live feed. See, I got extra time, extra energy. I don't do it laying around. I do it in a creative passion. You know, and that's how you find your best life. Your best life is just not having any responsibilities. I was just sitting here minding my business, having my coffee, and like I see once in a while, 2 people on a bicycle with a backpack came up to me. They saw me. Guys, I want to tell you guys, drug addicts on the street, they're going to see someone sitting in their car 100 yards away. And they come up to me and he asked for money. I said, no, I'm sorry. And respectful, I show people respect, but I'm not giving money. And because it's all drugs, guys. I mean, I hate to tell you guys, but because he can go in Starbucks right now and work. He don't work. So, but I don't say any of that. I just say, no, I'm good. And respect. And I'm saying that to say they got no responsibilities. They got no kids. But all they do is spend extra time doing drugs. So believe me, guys, the answer is not, well, I'm not going to raise someone else's kids and go do drugs. I want you to have this extra capacity so you can be extra, you can use the extra capacity to live your best life. Thank you for the comment, Mendel. Adam. Good evening, my brother. Good evening to you. I've been praying for you with the situation, putting your mom in a nursing home. Hopefully your day is going good. It's an awesome day. I'm just trying to make it through another day. I've been thinking about that. Caregiving every day. Caregiving is a disaster. I saw someone today who married an American guy to get to America, and I understand I would do too. But this is what happens, guys. Eventually, they get too old and sick. You got to take care of them. And they don't want to take care of them. It's very nasty. And it doesn't matter, you could both be American, but this is a reality. Because usually an American man, what does he want? Does he go overseas to marry a young foreigner? No. Wants a good-looking young foreigner, and there's a big age gap. Anytime you got more than 10 years age gap, too big. Because one's going to get guys, it's horrible. And this is what I saw, guys. Bad news. I want to tell you right now, when someone's at a point, look at Bruce Willis today. I'm going to do a whole live. Bruce Willis is 67. He did a movie called Die Hard. Now, he can't communicate. He's got a disease. He can't function. He's got basically needs a full-time caretaker. Everyone who wanted to marry, okay, a famous, rich, wealthy actor, I guarantee you no one wants to be their full-time caretaker. No one. Other than a paid nurse. And you're going to see your spouse, they want to get paid for taking care of you. But what I tell you is don't pay the spouse, just pay a registered. That's a conflict of interest. Never pay your children to take care of you. Conflict of interest. You need your children to be children. You need your wife to be a wife. You need your husband to be a husband. Hire a professional caretaker. Even though they're not going to be perfect, you're not going to be perfect. But you need to be there in the capacity of a family member, a friend, a lover, not a nurse, not a doctor. That's a conflict of interest. And that's why you got conflict. Never, this is a very important lesson. I hope you guys are listening. Love the Adam. Mendel, etc. Thank you. Twister. What's up, Sam? Thank you again, brother, for that gracious tip. Shout out to all my baristas out there. Starbucks, good gig. Mendel. Adam, stay safe in this world of medical. It has become nuts. Well, I know some nuts that refuse to take their medicine. They're Kanye West. I want to tell you right now, guys, look, if you're Kanye West, you need to take your medicine. Okay. Because I'm not raising your kids. And you say, Sam, what if you've been a beautiful, rich woman? She don't want your money. She don't care. All right, let's take Kim Kardashian. She don't need my money. Some people say she looks good. Am I going to raise Kanye West 4 kids? No. Why? Hey, guys, one is, again, he's off his medication. 2 is, I'm not getting involved. I'm not raising someone else's kids. Look what's going on with Pete Davidson. Look at what's going on with her boyfriend. It's a disaster. So these are a lot of life options. I hope people are listening. Anonymous. Last thing I want is kids in a world as a kid. Well, look, again, this is not negative. Because remember, you once been a kid. I thank God for all my friends' parents that allowed us to come in their house and stay. I thank God for all the people I know that adopted a kid that had kids. This is not negative on kid. Remember, you once been a kid. Remember, you've once been a kid. I'm just saying, as you become an adult, you have to figure out, if you have this mindset, you have to figure out, okay, do I have the personality to take care of kids? You're not going to know that in your 20s. You're not going to know probably till your late 20s, 30s. Most people are already jammed up by them, but this is what I want to share with you. Just like many people say to me, Sam, why don't you just buy something and rent it out? You don't have to live there. I don't have the personality to be a landlord. I know myself. Guys, a multifamily or an Airbnb, you know what that makes me do? It makes me throw up. I don't care if it produces money. It produces too much stress. See, that's the thing, guys. If you like owning multifamily houses, if you like owning condos and renting them out, then yeah, maybe you should take care of someone else's kids or have kids. I don't. I like having just what I need. I went to the supermarket, I got some soup. I said, thank God I didn't have to make that soup. Thank God I don't need a soup cooker. Thank God I don't need silverware. I got plastic forks. Thank God I don't need to put out my trash. The trash is wherever I throw it out in the public in a trash can. So you say, oh, that's crazy. Well, that's me. You know, you could say that's crazy, but to me, I only want to say what's going on in your house. I mean, I'm not talking about your house. I mean, come on, guys. Believe me, guys, I try to eliminate a lot of things I see out here, okay? But I have to share with you enough what I see so you know, okay, there's some crazy shit going on out here, okay? Believe me, and I try to be very gracious on how I share it because I see the shit. Let's stay positive. Anonymous, let me hit that like button for you. Well, thank you. Yes, if you haven't already and you guys and girls appreciate these videos, please take the time. It's free. Click the thumbs up. We have 52 people watching, only 28 thumbs up. Click the blue join button you want to support. Thank you. Sophie. Nomad is speaking the truth. Purple fire member only emoji. Sophie adopted a couple kids. And I'm sure she's glad she did. Again, we have Howies, but some people have been adopted. I know great people that have adopted kids. But there will come a point where you need to say no more. There will be a point where no more pets. I remember my grandfather at the end of his life, my grandma died. He was living in a house. And I said, Grandpa, you know, his cat just died. The cat just died. That really wasn't his. It was, you know, his daughter's. The cat died, and then the rabbit was the only one left. I said, Grandpa, you gonna get another pet, especially if the rabbit dies? And this was like, I don't know, 75-year-old man. He said, Sam, pets are a lot of work. He goes, I'm not going to take care of another pet. And I remember, again, I'm very thankful I had a dog. I think it was a blessing. I can think it could be a good substitute for having a child. Many people who get in a relationship, they have a dog, then they have kids. But what happens is when their kids are born, their dogs take second seat. And I don't know, not every situation, because I know some people, there are exceptions, right? So my experience is, I'm glad I had a dog. It was like having a kid. But like having a kid, when your dog suffers, you suffer. When my dog was suffering, I suffered. Like having a kid is a lot of work and a lot of money. And sometimes, like having a kid, my passed before I passed. And I said after that, I said, I'm not going through this again. I'm glad I experienced it, but I'm not going to do it anymore. And everyone needs to answer that for themselves, right? This is just me sharing now. Okay. And again, I want to go back to like specifically kids, how I looked at it too. And I got to be honest with you, I can lie to you. There's always going to be a part of you that said, I didn't make this kid. I didn't get to have sex. I didn't get to enjoy the thing, and I'm taking care of it. Now, not necessarily if you adopted it, not necessarily if you have a blend family, but for me, I thought about that. And some people admit that's too tough of a conversation to have. But again, I think if society doesn't have these conversations, again, I'm trying to be very balanced and restrained in how I deliver it, then I think, you're really hurting the next generation, and you're hurting everyone, even the people that are going through it. Why? Because again, I think it's the cycle of dysfunction. When you destroy your life to raise a kid that's not yours, or you're not built for it, and they're going to end up doing their own thing anyway, and they're going to end up in the same dysfunctional relationship you're in. Is that great? Elon Musk wants to save humanity. Well, why don't you just stop having kids and getting married for so many times? Because what's going to change in Mars if Elon Musk gets married 3 times and has more kids and gets divorced again? I mean, guys, at a certain point, let's just take care of ourselves well. And there's no shame if you've been married multiple times, you got multiple. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to share with you, taking care of yourself and it is a full-time job the rest of your life. Okay? And a lot of people, they may even work hard, but they avoid that work. And I want to tell you, think about it. Okay. Anonymous. Being a single child, I do think about not leaving a legacy or giving my parents grandchildren. My grandchildren will kill your parents, and your parents don't want children. A grandchild is someone who visits, but grandparents have become daycare. And what happens is that's dysfunction. So and legacy is pride, because you can make a more powerful impact just living your best life. And I would say avoid volunteering too. I did that shit. That's almost like raising kids. I think you should do it, but then I think you got to be able to say, you know what? Because once you start volunteering, guys, now you get an algorithm. How do you get out of it? Yeah, how do you get out of it? It's not easy. Now you got people depending on you. For you to be there every week or you to be there once or whatever you're going to do. So, and that's why I tell a lot of you unemployed people who are volunteering, you're out of your mind. Go get a job and stop volunteering. These are my opinions. He goes, also anonymous, but I have to live my best life. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. There's enough people who want kids. There are. That's what makes the world go round. I don't have to have kids. You're damn right. Twister, thank you again for the purple fires. And thank you for that gracious super chat. Truly, truly, truly appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Twister, love to you, man. Adam, I was very lucky that I was adopted into a good family. Thank you for sharing your experience here. He goes, my adopted family allowed me to have an open adoption. So I know my biological family. Now I'm taking care of my adopted parents. That's an interesting comment, and I love that you shared that. One is I didn't know about open adoption, where I guess there's a higher level of disclosure to you during that growing up process. And I just appreciate you sharing. I'm not going to add to that. I think that's a good comment. Thank you, man. Twister, Sam, I forgot to tell you, I hit my 3 months retention period a few weeks ago and signed up for health dental and vision. Twista got a job at Starbucks. He had a job at Dunkin' Donuts. He gave his 2-week notice and went to Starbucks. Why? Because Starbucks is in the same industry, the retail and services, but it's a better corporation, better company, better benefits, better atmosphere. If you are working in an industry, start anywhere, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever, below average engineering company, a below average electrical company, whatever you're going to do. A regular nurse or a nurse check-in person, but then work your way up. And you say, well, I'm burnt out. I said, well, all right, now go another level up. Go to administrative. There's always a way. Now, again, it's like, guys and girls, I want to tell you, if you think you're burnt out doing something, wait till you do nothing. Now, to me, you need time for yourself. You are going to have to find a work-life balance. And it's very hard to do that when you got kids or you're raising someone else's. I know people, guys, they make great money. They're hard workers, guys and girls, both men and women. They are phenomenal workers. They got great work ethic, but they are at home. They got a lot to deal with. Some of them deal with it, so I don't want to act like all of them deal with it badly. But I want to tell you that it's something that it puts a lot of stress on people. And they almost prefer to go to work than stay home, So great job, Twister. He goes, another step closer to not needing my parents. Praise God. Yeah, I mean, again, thank God for your parents. But I want to tell you, you're doing the right thing. Why? Because look, in your 20s, if you don't start to build habits, a career, in your 30s, it's very tough to get traction. And once you get into your 40s, if you haven't figured out somewhat a level of being able to be independent, it's almost impossible. Because now you're halfway through life, you have nothing to build on, and now, you're going to live with your parents. So, again, if you have a disability or if you can't do something, fine, guys and girls. But, again, I think that's not the average person. And, Twista, you have plenty of intelligence and work ethic. You're doing it. You're putting it into practice. You'll live a great life. Mike, shout out to Paul and OB in Maryland Beach. Okay, shout out to them. Shout out to you. Captain, I've dated people with kids. It was a nightmare. I've dated with people with kids, and it was a blessing. I have no negative emotions towards it, but it's just something that you have to think about. Anonymous, I could never raise a kid who didn't have my genes. I could, but even if I don't want a kid to have my genes either. I just don't want kids. That's what I've learned. That's part of the story. Personally, preference, don't consider selfish. Yeah, again, there's many layers to this conversation. Yadara, hey Yadara, good to see you. Hey Samito. I definitely don't need another baby daddy. A lot of dudes will play the I love kids. This is a good comment. They'll play that card, that's right, to get in those panties, and it's a fake in the end. It's a total fake out. It's a head fake. They just say that to get in your life. I totally agree. And I want to tell you this. I got in a girl's life. I didn't fake like I liked her kids. I mean, I was nice to her kids. She has some daughters. Her daughters were above age, and I would get with them. But what I would tell you is, I felt like because I was a good guy, that the hedge was, well, even if we don't work out, I'm another resource for your kids to call someone if they needed someone. And I could probably call them if I really needed someone. But again, it's that whole dynamic where her daughters are going to live their life. Okay? And they ain't going to listen to me, and I don't want them to listen to me. And there was some sucker guy that dated this girl, and he was there for the daughters. He was there for the mother. And these daughters end up living the same life the mother lived, which is they not like the nice guy. The nice guy helped move their mattress in, but they're going to fuck the dysfunctional guy. And that's when it's going to happen. You over there taking care of someone else's kids, and they appreciate it, but they're going to be with someone who doesn't appreciate it in many instances. And what do I say to that? I want to tell you, that's the word resentment. Be careful. Doug, my buddy loves being married so much. He has been married 3 times and working on the 4th. That's a very common thing. But again, I don't want to be hurtful because I know some people that have been married that many times and maybe the 3rd time works for them. And I also know some people that, one person that's been married once and happy. So again, I don't want to be hurtful for people listening and they're not, but a lot of what you said has a lot of truth. The other side, I live in Florida. It was a rough day, though. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I have no wife and kids. Paradise. For me, I agree. Anonymous. It's still 35 degrees here in New Jersey. It's a disaster. I grew up in New Jersey, and I want to tell you, and I found this out during the coronavirus because I was already like repositioned in Florida. And when the coronavirus hit and the country went to national lockdown at the end of March, which we're in now, I had a decision to make. Well, I got an elderly mom. I don't know what's going to happen with society. So I said, let me go back up to New Jersey. And coming from the 90, 80 degree weather in Florida all the way back up to Jersey and feeling that dreary weather for like 2 months. And then finally in May it got not nice and then it got crowded in the beach areas and stuff. I said, I hate it up here. I love my mother, but I hate it up there. And I'll only visit there in the fall. Yeah, I totally get it. Hey, Lila, Zach. My grandmother passed away, 90 years old. I'm sorry to hear that. At a nursing home. You people out there support me and my family. Well, Lila, you've said that a couple times, and we support you with love. But we're not raising money for the Ukraine. Why? Because we just gave them $1 billion through the federal government. We're not supporting you or your children. Why? Because there's a child tax credit, and you're on SSDI. And so you got plenty of money, and we love you. But we've heard about your grandparents dying now a few times. And they lived 10 years past average life expectancy. Average life expectancy is 80. So we love you, Zach, aka Lila. But we heard it already. Doug, entanglement free is the way to be. For me, again, everyone should figure out their own life. I agree with that. Story, well, thank you. I appreciate that. My daughter had a similar situation in the triathlon. She came in 10 minutes slower than usual. So I asked her if she was okay. She said she took her time to help a lady change a flat. Wow, that's awesome, man. That's nice of her. Good job. You raised her right. The Other Side 2020. I love the channel. Been watching for a long time. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Harple. Hey, hello to you. Rebecca. Good advice. Very authentic. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Transcend, never. Transcend, I apologize. I admit when I'm wrong. It appears the other night I was doing a live feed and you answered, I believe, CC Moon's question, and I didn't read her question, not by accident. I just skipped over a question, and you answered her. I thought you were being sarcastic, so I initially blocked you, and then I unblocked. So I apologize. When I'm wrong, say you're wrong. Make no excuse. I apologize. Seth, hey, Seth, shout out to Jersey. How are you, man? Hey, Sam, good to see you. It's great to see you. Sometimes I fear I lose some people, but I'm glad you're back. The token boardwalk story was sweet. Well, thank you. Reflection on who you are. Well, thank you. I want to be fair. I'm not perfect. You guys, I just admit it. I mean, there's times I fail. I try to be good. And yeah, look, as you get older, you get burnt a little bit. And I've burned people. You know, I'm not perfect. I let people down. But I also learned, right, that I want to be a good person or my best person. But I also learned I have to say no. Not because I want to hurt people, but because this is what I need to keep myself in a good space. And it was very hurtful for me to have to say no to a kid, no to someone I was mentoring with, no to not walking someone else's dog. That was, very tough. The problem is empathetic people, it's tough saying no. Now, I've never been so weak that I couldn't say no. And I thank God for the people that say yes, because again, people have helped me that say yes. So I don't want to bash. I'm just saying you got to figure out what you can handle. Everyone is different. This is a kind of a story about figuring out what I can handle. And so everyone's got to figure out, their own thing. Thank you. Transcend. Other kids are not your responsibility. They're not, but I have no problem. I mean, again, there's been a couple kids that, that I helped. I don't want to say help raise, but I spent time with that. To me, I thought they're awesome kids. I would love them to be my kids. So to me, that doesn't bother me because I'm not a DNA legacy guy. I'm just not a kid guy. I'm great with kids, but I don't want kids. I don't even want a house. I don't know. So that's what I'm trying to get at, AR6, hey, The Other Side. Hollywood, Florida. Okay, we got a couple people from Florida here tonight. Thank you. GGPI. Dunkin' Donuts is not a publicly traded company. Let me just research that. Dunkin' Donuts And Dunkin' Donuts is a publicly traded company. I knew they were. Their stock symbol is D as in David, N as in Nancy, K as in kill, N as in Nancy. Dunkin' Donuts is a publicly traded company. Okay. And so now you know the stock ticker. They're traded on the NASDAQ. Oh, wait, they did trade. Maybe they stopped trading? They traded on the NASDAQ between 2011 and 2020. Did they stop? So the only way they wouldn't be is if they stopped. I know they were. So you get the point, guys. I mean, you're splitting hairs. If you're splitting hairs, to me, it's like, but if they're no longer trading, then I received that correction. But they're basically a big enough corporation where they're publicly traded. So you know what I'm saying. Rebecca, people can be pretty good caregivers even if they're not related, only for a period of time. It's like, guys, I know people that can handle water torture. Have you ever, what water torture is? Pretty much. It's just like a basic drop of water on your forehead. It's not really like, no one's cutting off your arm. So that drop of water on your forehead don't do much. But if that drop on your forehead is every day for months and years and it never stops, fucking make you go insane. So remember, guys, being a caretaker is like going through water torture. And if you don't believe me, you never experienced it. True love is rare. Yeah, well, so is someone surviving water torture. Respect and unconditional positive. You've never been through life. Rebecca, you're the type of person where you understand philosophy, not reality. I would never want you to be my caretaker. Why? Because you would think that you would be able to handle it. After 5 years of changing my diapers, I would say, this bitch is killing me, but I can't even talk. I got a tube up my mouth. So I would say, someone cash in my long-term medical insurance and get a professional in here here we go. But working with all social classes, economic classes, and cultures, it's a big help. Nah. Jewel, 100. Joanna, hey, Joanna, shout to Jersey. And pray and ask God, only he knows our hearts. Faith without works is dead. I appreciate you, Ann, and I've been in the religious movement, and I've went on a spiritual journey. But if the first comment you leave in here is on that, not on you sharing your actual testimony, and if you know the scriptures, what does it say in the book of Revelation? How do you overcome the enemy? By the word of your testimony, which you've been through in life, and by the blood of the Lamb, the grace of God. Everything else is blah, 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 prayer emoji. Okay. Let me hear the word of your testimony. Never forget it. Joanna, Jersey, 3 thumbs up. Thank you. Rebecca, you're delusional. Oh, wait, no, maybe you're not. Let me see. Caregivers are essential for survival, blah, blah, blah. You're paid. Should be paid. Oh, you're not delusional. Okay. It's not family's job for the difficult nursing. Okay, well, here we go then. All right, you saved it because I was getting upset. I apologize. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think it was still good what I shared. All right, Rebecca, I hear you, I think. Tony, good to see you. Jewel, yes, a lot to be thankful for. You, good job. The other side, 29. I forgot. What was I asking? Hey, Mark, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Forgive me for being late in the comment. I see you took it back, but that's okay because maybe now it won't apply, or I understand sometimes comments are up too long. Other side, I have a fishing remote control car. That's all I need. Whatever works for you. Yeah, I've had those for a while. I don't have anything now, but I understand. The other side, pet fish Oscar. Okay. Sophie, I love my kids, but I am not adopting anymore. Thank you for sharing. Unless I am led to. Thank you. Nomad is very correct. Thank you for sharing your testimony. Is very correct in what he's saying. Listen, the wise, with those who have ears, let them listen. Yeah, the scriptures say this. Listen with wise ears to what he's saying. The Lord, thank you, Sophie. I'm listening to your testimony. Good job. Michael, what's up, brother? Thank you for everything. He goes, I have 2 kids. Too late for me. Well, thank you for sharing. But again, this is not negative towards kids, whether they're your own or adopted. It's not. But when I get into a place creatively or just communication-wise where I'm stuck, I remind myself, don't try to tell everyone else's story. That's not my job. My job is to tell my story based on my experiences. That's my testimony. And when you try to philosophize the world or save the world, stop. Develop yourself and don't try to share everyone else's story. Just live your story, share your story. And so I appreciate you sharing your story. Yep. Miss B, what's up, Miss B? If you don't want to take care, if you don't want to take on the baggage forever, then at least help those kids financially before you go and give them some knowledge. I already did that, and what I figured out is that doesn't take long. They could watch a live feed now, and they rather watch a live feed, and they're still going to figure out life. So, this live feed will help some that want it. Also, be honest with the women early on. Always have been. All my relationships ended positive. That's my testimony. How have your relationships ended? I want to hear your testimony. I want to hear your testimony. When you date a guy, do you look at his height? Do you be honest with him up front? I will only date tall guys, 6'2". I was in Florida to get his feed. A bunch of hungry, thirsty Ukrainian women that want to date an American. And I want to tell you, they want him also, though, to be over 6 foot tall. So what I can tell you is it cuts both ways. If you want a man, can he be short? If he's short, do you still respect him? Or do you just want him to take care of your kids? So guys, all those things cut two ways. Miss B, like 3 months in or less. Miss B, I want to tell you right now. I'll tell you in 3 seconds or less. I want to take care of your kids. So I love you. My king lives. That's truth. Brother, hard to say no. Know when the spirit in you wants to create peace. Thank you for understanding. It's not easy. And again, it's not easy. But you have to be honest with yourself because people can see when you're lying. And sometimes we live a lie because we don't want to be honest. It's a tough conversation. It's tough life. And I'm not going to say there's a perfect answer. I'm not going to say my way is the way everyone should live. Not my job to figure all that out. I'm just sharing some experiences with you. And you'll have to figure out what everyone does for themselves. My king lives. Polk County, Florida. I know a couple friends there. Well, shout out to you, man. Shout out to my friend's family if they ever watch anymore. Love to you, man. Thank you to Polk County. Miss B, MKL represents 100. Born and raised, I'm no longer there. Okay, well, love to you, Miss B. MKL, just starting the nomad life. Okay. And I love the freedom there is and opportunities that are open. There are. Twisted, love to you. DTV, I'm curious to know. Yeah, there's no reason to know. Why does it matter? I respect you. But to me, I just don't like that question. Why? Because it's just like, it has nothing to do with your content of your character. If you like the message, click the thumbs up, watch. If you don't worry about my zodiac sign. Don't worry about my zodiac sign either way. I'm not going to say I've never thought of things like that. So I don't want to be like a mean, but it's irrelevant and it's a delusion. I love you though. Respect to you. Twisted, Dunkin' Donuts publicly traded human souls. It's all love to people who like Dunkin' though. My mom likes Dunkin'. I used to work there. MKL at Miss B. I hear you, sister. Been here from New York since 2000, and I love this state. It's a blessing. Look, I'm glad I grew up in New Jersey. Why? A lot of opportunities, good school systems, diverse. So, but, times are different. And, look, with remote work and with the migration that has taken place in the past 10 years, it's a different world. There's still a lot of opportunities, though, in the Northeast and many other parts of the country. Well, look, most of the money, I tell you this from working with many corporations, this is where most of the money in the country is. The Northeast, Chicago, or California. Next would be Arizona and Texas. Florida's got opportunities, but a lot of these, you got money and, you got investments or whatever. You do a transfer, you're working remote. But like I tell you guys, don't put your life on hold because there's many opportunities nowadays. But look, most of the money is in 3 sections, both coast and in Chicago. And Chicago's pretty much because it's a hub for the middle of the country. It's a three-point system. The Northeast is the connection to Europe. The California is the connection to Asian markets. And because you got that diversity, those port lands, what bring in goods and migration, you have a diverse, highly intelligent population that can produce a lot of innovative ideas. Silicon Valley, the financial capital of the world, New York. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And in the middle of the country, Chicago, it's a connection to the northern, most northern hemisphere, Canada, etc. And you got a population there. Now, of course, there's a lot of people in between, but there's most of the people are just like most country. Look at any country dynamics. On the coast, something in the center, and then the rest is, now it's a little bit different with the internet. Internet is an equalizer. But that's still a big part of business. Okay, never forget it. I believe we left off MKL. Everybody dies, but not everyone lives. No, that's true, and again, I struggle with this because I don't know. Everyone's got to live their own life, man. Not my, so I can't say that any life is better than the other. Obviously, you don't want to hurt people. Obviously, you want to be somewhat productive and get the most out of your talents and gifts, right? But you also have to be true to what you need to restore yourself. Your life is like a hybrid battery. It only regenerates when you break, not nap when you break. Your life is like an electrical battery. You need to recharge. Without that, guys, you're going to be stuck. So, you need your energy. You need your energy. You need your energy. Seth, how is your mom? Ups and downs, but overall, thank God she's still functional, independent. I talk to her every day, just got done talking to her. So I thank God for what she does have, and I thank God for the shape she is in. I'm grateful for that. How's your family, man? DTV. I did click to subscribe. Thank you, and like. I was just curious. No problem. I was just answering honestly. Don't think there's nothing wrong with curiosity, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with me saying no. And that's part of the lesson tonight. I try to be respectful. Sometimes I go a little too far. But if I don't want to raise someone's kids, I have the right to say no. If I don't want to say what my zodiac sign is, I have the right to say no. If I don't want to walk someone else's dog, I have the right to say no. It's painful because I want to make people happy. But that's something that I want to communicate to you guys and girls, because I think that is more valuable than telling you my zodiac sign. It's telling you a principle that no matter when you were born will help you. That doesn't mean you should say no all the time. Again, I think if you're at a job and you're asked to do something that's a little bit above your responsibilities, I think you should do it. I think you'll move ahead, and I think you'll be more pleasant to work with. I think in life you should go the extra mile sometimes. I'm just saying not every time. Because, especially in your personal space, not your professional. Because your personal space is when you personally recharge. And again, for my creative people, you're not going to have energy to create when you work and you have to raise someone else's kids or do other responsibilities. If you ever watch the movie, if you ever date a girl that was brought up, within the past 20 years, she watched the movie called The Notebook. The Notebook was where this woman was going to marry this guy who was very financially stable and treated her well. And there was another guy that also treated her well, but he was broke. But what she found out with the guy who was wealthy, even though she respected him, she wasn't in love with him. And she lost all her creative joy, all her creative passion. But when she was with the other guy, she was more creative. She painted. Now, what happened at the end was the truth of life. She got so sick, her kids couldn't take care of her. They put her in a nursing home. The husband who sacrificed his life, he took care of her, but she still didn't remember him. And it tore him apart till the day she died. Oh, I still think about that movie. And it ended, you say, well, it ended nice where they died in each other's arms. Yeah, I get that, but there was a lot of suffering. And I'm not saying you shouldn't live like that, but I just, for me, that was like, wow. Miss B, I am often the one who leaves. When a new entanglement begins getting serious, I tend to hold back. Okay, so you're knowing yourself. You really don't like commitment. More all of a sudden, and tell them to think about what they want, no time wasted. Yeah, look, chances are physically there's probably something wrong with you that you don't want or can't handle a long-term relationship, and emotionally, because, and some of that may even apply to me. Eventually what you learn is I'm not built for this. Physically, emotionally, mentally. And you can lie to yourself and try to blame them and try to dip your toe in the pool, but you have to be honest with yourself. And that's kind of what I came to. Doug. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Benton, Arkansas has a 1-bedroom apartment for $600 a month. Well, it also has some of the highest poverty in the country and very low job opportunity. So I would not move to Arkansas. You say, well, Bill Clinton was brought up in Arkansas. Yeah, but he made his money in Washington, D.C. There's a lot more job opportunities in Washington, D.C. than Arkansas. Shout out to my great viewer, Data Geek. But I want to tell you this, guys. I would not move to Arkansas unless you already have a job there. And even if you already have a job there, I don't know why you'd want to move to Arkansas. The weather's horrible. Lack of diversity, lack of opportunity, lack of things to do. It's landlocked. Okay, it's my opinion. Michael, $10 super chat. Thanks for showing up and keeping it real. Well, Michael, thank you for sharing your story. Love, empathy. I don't want to be one of these people that just keep it so. I want to be honest. Michael, thank you again. I was praying and asking God, just talking to myself a little bit and asking God, do I really want to talk about this topic tonight? And if I do, I got to temper myself a little bit because I don't want it to come across as just a harsh Maury Povich entertainment piece. That's not my intent. I discipline myself because I'd rather talk about something funner. But for me, this is something that will help people more, and it's part of my testimony. It hurts, though, a little bit because I know these stories can hurt. But I feel like if I check myself and I really try to temper myself on sensitive topics like this, I feel I'm doing the right thing. Not easy. And this is why I tell you right now, there's no way I would have a lot of entanglements and be able to do this because there's a lot of vulnerabilities with it. But I thank you, Michael. You've been a blessing to me, and you're going to figure it out. Thank you. Pat Go, good to see you. I believe I left off at Anonymous. Not to get off topic, but is it too much to drive from Palm Beach to Orlando and back in one day? It would be very unenjoyable, doable, but unenjoyable, because you would spend at least 4 to 8 hours in a vehicle. Well, more than 4. You'd probably spend at least 6 to 9 hours in a vehicle. If you woke up early at 5 a.m., which I recommend you do no matter what, and you were very diligent in managing your time and it was your day off of work, you'd be able to do it, but it wouldn't be that enjoyable. Look, no matter how you cut the pie, Orlando is not by the ocean. If you're going to live in Orlando or visit Orlando, there's great areas in Orlando. Florida Yeti did. There's great lakes. There's great parks, but it's not the ocean. So when moving to Florida, guys, if you want to be by the ocean, you're not going to live in Orlando. And if you're going to travel from Orlando to the ocean, it's going to be a full day. So it's tough to do it in one day. Now, Palm Beach, even more so, because Palm Beach County and Palm Beach itself, that's not a straight cross town. Orlando is northwest of Palm Beach. Like, if you just went east coast of Orlando, you can run into a beach, but it's going to be central. Palm Beach is southeast, so it's a little bit out of the way. And so, yeah, it's a tough one-day trip. DTV, there's nothing wrong with you saying no at all. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not mad at you. Well, thank you. I'm not mad at you at all. Thank you. Seth, we are good. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Joe, no, I don't aspire to... Cameron, hey, Cameron, how you been, brother? Great to see you, man. Cameron, how you been, man? It's great to see you tonight, man. Thank you again, Michael. You've been a blessing to me, brother. Thank you. Doug, amen to that, Sam. No, Arkansas. Yeah. Look, most places in the country, they're not for most people. You got to take the 50 states in America and you got to treat it like a dating app. Use a filter. Do you like the ocean? Well, if you like the ocean, you just filtered out most of the states. Like if you were dating and you wanted a guy to be 6 foot tall and you wanted him to have no kids, you just eliminated a lot of guys. So, that's what you got to remember in life, guys. Most things in life are not for you, so don't waste your time. Go to the area you want to go. Don't waste the energy researching Arkansas. Why? Doug, you ain't going to be getting a popping in Starbucks and the beach. I don't care if they got $6 a month rent. And like I know, guys, when you're talking $600 or less a month in rent, you ain't walking outside at night. And even if you're walking outside at night, it's not the right spot. So remember, guys, just be mindful of these things, Now, a campground, maybe, Pat, I will raise someone else's barn. Well, Pat, go, you are you got 2 cats, I believe. You got bare feet. Now, you did marry a guy, or you're with a guy, that the relationship that you're in caused you to go back up to the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I remember watching a video of you in Arizona. You were very happy. But from what I remember, you said you had to go back up to Michigan because your husband or your significant other needed surgery. Now, maybe there's a lot more to the story, but I always think about that. So, man, will Pat go be walking around Arizona with bare feet and 2 cats, tent camping with 2 machetes? Yeah, now, would you be okay doing that for days on end with no one else? You'd probably get lonely. Most people end up going into a relationship because they get lonely. You guys and girls, you got to know that you got to learn to enjoy your own company. And if you don't enjoy your own company, then to me, I go in Starbucks for an hour. I get my fill of socialization. Or I go in the gym for an hour. I talk to people. And I don't talk to many people, but I'm saying I'd be around people. I could talk if I want. Sometimes I do. And for me, this is my personality. That's enough. I have to be able to know if I want to go into a store, I go like Starbucks, I'll talk to something, then I can leave. I'm not committed. And that's it. Like right now, if I live with someone and they got kids, like I would get a text like, Sam, when you coming home? Sam, what are you doing? You going live? What are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. God, I go crazy. I can't do that. I can't. Sophie, Nomad Sam, thank you for sharing your testimony. Well, thank you also for sharing yours and being such a positive person. You are sharing a gift tonight. It was not easy, Sophie. I really appreciate you understanding, and I appreciate you sharing yours. Pat go. Arkansas more human than Florida, and there's no ocean, and there's no Latina MILFs, not abundance, and I think they may have state income tax, and there's no palm trees, and there's no bikinis, and guys, elitists don't go to Arkansas. Come on, man. Even Bill Clinton, did he retire in Arkansas? I don't think so, man. Guys, elitists, we come to Palm Beach, man. We trump it out, man. We build the Mar-a-Lago, guys. We hire foreigners on a visa. You know what I mean? That's what elitists do. And you say, what do you do? Guys, I'm living by myself. I don't do shit. Okay, so this is what I do. I work for an income. I go after my creative passion for side income and to share my gift. I go to the beach. I work out lightly as I get older, but consistently. I drink Starbucks. I eat salad from cafes. And if I get tired with the area or if I have an issue, I just start my car and leave. You say, Inspirational Nomad, we seen you in one area for the same period of time. Well, guys, I want to tell you, some people have said that, then I'm gone the next day. I'm never back. Because that's the type of guy I am. Okay. So that, I can't be raising no kids. Lila, my grandma passed away and I felt sad in my heart crying. From the inside of my family, the worst of my parents. Think they are going to the funeral home and grave, proudly town. Well, she lived a full life. At 90 years old, that if you live the right way, 80, 90, not that anyone I wish passing on them. I certainly don't want my mom to pass the right way. But you don't want to see people you love suffer. And you want to enjoy each day. That's all we have. You got through another day. I love you, Zach. Cameron, I've been good. Well, it's great to see you. It really is, man. I appreciate you. Ryan, thank you for your honesty and your time. Well, thank you, Ryan, for your positive comments. Thank you, Ryan. I was a caregiver for my grandma and now my mom. Well, like I say, guys, I think you should be a son and get some help, even if you're going to be the backstop caretaker. Because there's no way you're working a full-time job and a full-time caretaker. It's impossible. So either you're living off your mom and taking care of her, which basically means you're paying yourself to be a caretaker, or you're coming home from work and during the day your mom is living by herself. So there's no caretaker. So what I found in life is being a caretaker is either code word for I'm unemployed and I'm embezzling from my parents, or I'm giving them inadequate care and they don't really need a caretaker. So there's too much time in the day for you to be able to work a job and take care. It's impossible. But I love you. Pat, if you like to drip with sweat, I do. At midnight, oh yeah, now move to Arkansas? I don't like that. Novano, I know what would be TV gold. Sam goes into hoarders' houses. I already lived in those houses. I go into, and gives them a good dose of reality. No, I lived that life, man. I want to tell you this, Melvano, from my experience. This is my testimony. You could get stabbed trying to make a hoarder throw out their stuff or get rid of their storage unit. So I want to tell you, this is one thing I learned in life from my experience. I will move out of a house, but I will not help someone move. Whether it's a stripper I know who lives on the third floor, or someone I know in my family that hoards stuff, but they don't want to get rid of stuff. I will do the best I can to help. I'll chip in some money for a mover. But I look at a mover just like a caretaker. I got a full-time job. I can't be a full-time mover too. If you need a mover, I'll pitch in $100 and we'll hire a professional mover. If you need a caretaker, I'll pitch in with the other a professional caretaker. But I'm not a professional mover, and if I was, it's a conflict of interest for me to help my own family move. If I was a RN nurse, it's a conflict of interest for me to give services to my immediate family. Same thing with therapy. Try to give therapy to your children. That's not what you're supposed to be, a parent, not a therapist. A lot of people, guys, they cross those lines. And what I can tell you is there's no exact science to life, so everyone do what they got to do, but be careful. Pat, if you think off mosquito spray smells good, move to Arkansas. Damn it, Pat, go. It sounds like you spent some time in Arkansas. Very good, Ryan. Even though I am disabled. Well, here you go. You're on SSDI then. So you need a caretaker. I'm still kicking ass. Well, no. You are getting paid because you have a disability. So how are you disabled where you can't work, but you have the physical and mental and knowledge capacity to take care of your mom? That's dysfunction. You're not a caretaker. You're not kicking ass. If you were kicking ass, okay, you would be in physical therapy or mental therapy, and you would be doing something productive outside of your house. You're on SSDI, splitting the bills with your mother, acting like you're saving the world so you can get an inheritance, feel good about yourself. You're underdeveloped. You're a nice person, but you get nasty when someone calls it like it is. And that's why it's dysfunction. Twist them. Sam, I saw a quote today I wanted to share with you. It said, today is tomorrow you worried about. Brother, that's right. You get through today. Plan for tomorrow, but get through today and let everything else go. You figured it out. Captain Kirk, freedom is not having kids. For me, and maybe for you, for other people, I respect that, that may be a blessing. And I thank God for people I know that love kids, because I was a kid and I had parents, I had people that I went to their house and their parents allowed us to come. So I want to be fair. Jay, laughing, good. All right, everyone, I love you. It's no disrespect, but this is my experience in life because I've dealt with that. I've had family members on disability. And you know what they do? They kill their mother. They don't take care of her. I know it. Because I've seen in my life. Well, you're in a live feed right now. You taking care of your mom right now? Yeah. What's your mom doing right now? I know what she's doing. Okay. So, I love everyone. Have a good night.